Hello everybody, this is Debbie from Teacher Success Coach. I haven't been on for a little while because I've just been trying to get my student assessment sorted, because we've got assessments and I've been assessing, marking, the whole shebang. Right, what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful for so many things. One of it is the ability to connect with my students. I'm not fully connected with all of them, but I'm connecting with some of them. I suppose this takes time, and I am connecting with some of them. But the sad thing is, some of the students are so programmed that it's the same thing you have to do with them. I keep on saying to them, as psychology students, you know what happens in terms of programming. And one of the things is, the student expect you to be shouting at them. I'm not a shouter in terms of with my students. That doesn't work for me. And also in relationship to putting the name on the board when they're not listening. So therefore there is the behavior and the reward section. So if they're good, you tell them well done, you put it on the board. If they're challenging, you give them, you put a tick, you put the name on the board. When 3 ticks, it's detention. This is mature students. Well, not mature student, but student who was 16 and 18. And it's a real challenge for me to be doing that. I really cannot do that. So I began to speak to them regarding the fact that they're being programmed and conditioned. And I shouldn't have to do that because they're doing psychology and they know the effect of that, So that seems to be working to an extent. But it's like me kind of reminding them, the programming effects, right? So for one group of students, for my 14 to 15-year-olds, the connection is becoming really good. But in order for me to get that, I had to do a sitting plan. And that seems to work to an extent. And I said to them, I noticed that I've changed you guys, but there's issue with the sitting plan because you guys still talking to each other while in class. I say, yes, you could talk, but let's just talk after class. So probably tomorrow I have to do, like change them a little bit, turn them around a little bit. But the beautiful thing is we had a lot of things, we got a lot of things done today. And one of the topic we're doing is social influence. So in terms of conformity, that linked in quite nice with in terms of the behavior and how they connect. So that was quite good. So that's one of the things I'm grateful for, that some of my students are beginning to connect. Another thing I'm grateful for, the students who I'm not fully connecting with the older students, they've been saying to me, Miss, it's got nothing to do with you. We've had so many teachers. So that's another factor. Because they've had so many teachers, there's an issue with trust. Because they're not fully trusting that I'm here to stay until the teacher comes back from maternity leave. Because before that teacher went off, they had a number of teachers because they were covering, etc. And none of them stayed. And apparently they had other teachers in other areas that have left, came in, spent 1 day or 2 days, and they left. So as a result of that, there's a big issue with trust. And as we know for ourselves as human beings, we're not even in education, and we know that when we feel that people are going to let us down, the level of trust isn't there. So with the students, it's no different. So there is a trust aspect and lack of attachment in terms of body connection, in terms of, students are they're not able to attach because they fear that that individual they start becoming attached to is going to leave them. So it's like all of that I have to contend with. There are a number of lessons in that for me. One of them is when going into a new school is to actually see how many teachers the students have. So therefore you would know how to navigate the whole situation. And the fact that they've been on lockdown as well, even though I was teaching them online from January, when we actually come in the physical classroom, it's a whole different ball game, because they see it as, even though you're in the physical, you were on the online classroom, it's okay because we want it together, etc. The fact that I'm back in the classroom with them, it's fantastic, but the level of mistrust is quite high because they're thinking now that we're in the physical classroom, is the teacher is going to stay? So it's like me trying to reassure them, yes, it's okay. I'm going to be with you guys until July. By that time, some of you who are doing your A-levels, I'll have got you sorted, got you prepared so that you finish the A-levels. And those of you who are doing the GCSE, I'll be sorting you out and preparing you to complete your GCSE. So at least we'll have completion. So rest assured I'll be there with you. But it's quite a hard thing because I'm constantly having to reassure them, and it takes a lot. But I could see how that happened, you know, how the mistrust appears and how the lack of attachment is appearing for them, etc., because they're not sure, and the uncertainty as well. So those are some of the factors I'm experiencing. But what I'm grateful for, they were very honest with me, because I demonstrate vulnerability. As I say to them, you guys have to work with me because I don't know what to do, because you guys are not connecting with me, because you guys are talking constantly and the disruption, and I just feel as if I am not teaching. I lay it all out to them. So they were also open to me as well. There are a number of things they've told me. They say, oh, Miss, you know, we trust in you now, but at the same time, it's going to take a while for us to fully trust you in terms of that you're going to stay, etc., etc. So this is a big thing on that. So those are the two things I'm grateful for in relationship to my school. And my win is the fact that my young students, the age group between 14 and 15, they're beginning to feel that level of trust. And this afternoon lesson was fantastic. It was magical, really magical. They were engaged. We were talking about, as I said earlier on, we were talking about social influence. They had a lot to say. We were connecting. We were evaluating the study. So that was really, really good. So we even overran in the session, because when we all look at the time, oh my goodness, Miss, you know, our lesson's finished now. So I wasn't able to wrap up. So in terms of timing was a problem there, but it was really nice because they were really connecting and enjoying the lesson. So I said to them, I said, from now on, I will have to, you know, very conscious of my time and go by my my plan and check it constantly to know that, to make sure that I'm able to wrap up. So we take something in the lesson before we actually leave. So that was my win today. I was on fire because it was really, really nice. They're connecting and stuff, because this week is a much easier week than it was before Easter break. Easter break, I think they were tired, although they were working from home on the online platform. It's still tiring, because when they went back into the school, you know, it's a lot of issues. But we need to realize that these students are going through a lot of trauma. Yes, educators, we're also going through trauma, but I feel that as adults, we are able to navigate it a lot more than the students are. And the students are really going through some challenges, and it is manifesting in their behavior pattern. So educators, we need to be a little bit soft on them. We need to understand a lot more what they're going through, because they're going through a hell of a lot. And I understand that, I appreciate that. So those are some of the things that we need to be mindful of, even in terms of disciplining them, in terms of giving them detention, you know, in terms of sending them out of the classroom. Those are some of the reasons why I have not sent them out of the classroom, even though some of them behavior is really, really challenging, because I realize that some of the issues they're going through, because it's a lot of uncertainty on their part. And another aspect they're concerned about, they're also concerned about the results and the grades they need to get to go to university, because last year they were not given assessment as such. It was based on the teacher's grade throughout the academic year, whereas now they've got to do assessment, which the pressure is on us as educators. We have to mark this assessment, we have to set it and mark it. So it's quite a lot of pressure. So those are the things as educators we need to be mindful of, some of the things the students are going through. And we need to be very cautious how we deal with it, because we don't want it to develop in relationship to mental health issue, because we know that it's quite delicate, you know, in terms of the mental health. Another things I'm grateful for this morning as well. This morning is like getting up in the morning, being alive. That's something I have to demonstrate gratitude to God, because I'm a strong believer in God. We all have our own belief system. Mine is God. I know that He's always there. He's supporting me and He's guiding me, because I know some of the things I have been going through in relationship to, life in general and the lockdown, etc. So I'm really grateful, and I have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to praise for in terms of being alive this morning. Thank my bed because it gave me a fantastic night's sleep. My family, demonstrate gratitude to my family, and also being aware that there are challenges and we are going through challenges. Educators, I understand you guys. I know what's happening, but we cannot be locked in the challenge. We need to start looking at the triumph, because there are lots of those. One of it is we are all alive here to tell the tale of the journey we are on. So that's a big thing we need to be grateful for, because the fact that we're able to see that, we're able to navigate that, we're able to come on that journey, and at the same time get our students to come on the journey with us. It is challenging, but we have to find a way to get them to come on the journey with us. So those are the things we need to be grateful for, in spite of the uncertainty, in spite of teaching online, in spite of the tiredness of Zoom, in spite of spending longer teaching than we would normally do when we were not going through this pandemic. We still have a lot to be grateful for, because we've learned new skills in terms of how to navigate this new behavior the students are demonstrating, and these mental health issues that they're demonstrating. And in terms of we actually learning new platforms, which would be good for us as individuals, in terms of we using it for other things in our life. So we have a lot to be grateful for. And educators, I do feel that we need to demonstrate more gratitude than we are demonstrating. We're demonstrating more ungratefulness. We need to demonstrate gratitude for what we have and not what we feel that we ought to have. We just need to be sitting with it right now, because there's a lot that we need to be thankful for. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic evening, night, day, wherever you are. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I'm now back on with a schedule, a much more tight schedule, because my students are, now on. I'm doing assessment, etc. Right? Take care. Stay blessed. Educators, remember, you are doing a fantastic, fantastic job. Do not let anybody, tell you differently, because you have no choice. You now learn the skills and you're now navigating it. So stay blessed. Take care. Have a great evening. Thanks.